Alright everyone, it's time for a special mid-afternoon video here because the people who run UVM, which I actually attended for several years, and the mayor of Burlington, who is, I guess he fancies himself an autocrat. He wants to be the big boy in charge. He wants to pull his pants up and strut around like a little baby, pretending that he has any goddamn fucking power. Anyway, these people have reached an accord. There were some problems because they didn't know how much they wanted to abuse the UVM student population. And by the way, to any UVM students, why the fuck? Supposedly as intelligent and edgy and anti-establishment as you are, why the fuck aren't you protesting this bullshit? They want to make every student show up for a weekly COVID test. For what reason, I don't fucking know, considering that college students are in the age demographic least likely to fucking keel over from coronavirus, as well as potentially suspend anyone who misses 3 appointments. So, like, if you're going to UVM, you're paying them tens of thousands of dollars, because it's a very expensive university. I know. I went there. I'm still paying it off now. You go to UVM. You pay however many fucking thousands of dollars per semester. You have to take COVID tests over and over, taking time, by the way, out of your fucking goddamn schedule that you could be studying, you could be doing something meaningful, you could be volunteering, you could be doing something good for the world. You have to go and take a goddamn fucking test. If you miss 3 of them, we will temporarily suspend you. We'll give you a stern talking to, say the UVM faculty. Meanwhile, the mayor of Burlington announcing as well, there will be bans on public gatherings of more than 25 people in outside areas or 10 people in interior areas. So if you have 11 people in your house at a party, you're breaking the law, I guess, in Burlington now. So to all you frat boys out there, yeah, you can only have, you don't even need the full keg because 10 people, I mean, you know, they all get fucking completely wasted. This is massively bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Number one, the state of Vermont has the lowest COVID per capita case total of any state in the United States. There are red states out there that are doing goddamn butt-fuck nothing in terms of restrictions at the moment. Literally, there are no restrictions. Their case totals are basically flatlined. There's no problem. In the state of Vermont, with COVID, you can barely even call it a pandemic. The number of people who have died, and of course you got to fix that number for the number of people who died of other things, but they happened to test positive posthumously, so they just listed it as a COVID death. Yeah, he got wrapped around a tree. Both of his arms were torn off. His feet were torn off. His head was bashed in, but you know what? He probably would have survived that if he didn't have coronavirus. I hate to tell you, but in certain states, with the diagnostic criteria, that's pretty much how it works. And in other states, they put him in old folks' homes and they killed off a bunch of old people. Cuomo is rubbing his hands all the way to the bank because he's like, hey, imagine all the pensions we don't have to pay. Imagine all the retirees. They're not getting Social Security. I saved millions of dollars a year by killing 10,000 old people, says Cuomo. The ultimate archmage of New York. The ultimate hero, by the way, with a speaking slot at the DNC of New York and of the Democratic Party. What I would say is this. Vermont has the lowest case totals in the nation. This fundamentally violates the First Amendment because it's impeding your ability to assemble. For political purposes as well. And as far as I know, there's no aside in here, no exception for political gatherings. We're in an election year. We're a couple years out from the election. By the way, this is a far-left city in a generally left-leaning state, an extreme far-left campus, and you're not letting students even gather for that purpose. They're not even allowed to do, like, they had the Save the Boobies thing back in the 2000s when I was a student, when I was a freshman, and I remember them out in front of the library in order to, like, raise money for breast cancer awareness and stuff like that, to do mammogram screenings. You're not even allowed to do that anymore. No activism allowed, says the mayor of Burlington. Where's your fucking balls, dude? When are you people going to protest this shit? That's what you should do. Civil disobedience. You should refuse to take the tests. And I don't even feel bad about saying that that's what you should do. There are almost no cases of COVID in the state of Vermont. It's so sparsely populated. It's so off the grid. It's so out there. It's not really a thing. And it violates the Fourth Amendment too. Attempting to mandate that adults should non-consensually get tested for something that they would otherwise not reasonably be expected to have contracted in the first place violates, in my opinion, the Fourth Amendment. What I would do is, if you're a wealthy student, you should sue. If you're not a wealthy student, then you should take your lumps and stand on principle, and at least you'll be standing for something. Look, that piece of paper that you're spending tens of thousands of dollars for is worthless anyway. If you're going to UVM for anything other than a tech education, it's fucking worthless. Unless you happen to be in the 1%. If you're in the top 1% of your class, you can go get a master's degree. You can go get a PhD. Maybe someday you'll be privileged enough to teach at UVM, and you'll have to take COVID tests for the rest of time. They're not even giving a definite period on how long this is going to last. It's a pile of goddamn fucking bullshit. Meanwhile, for those of us that are actually traveled, sitting here in Amsterdam, the belly of the beast, the up and rising banking capital of all of Europe, supposedly really, by the way, far left, diverse. The right wing tells me it should be full of problems because of that fact. Meanwhile, what restrictions? It doesn't exist. Nobody gives a fucking shit. Nobody's wearing a mask outside of a medical context or if they have a comorbidity. If you do, if you happen to be, you're a chonker, you've got AIDS or something, you should wear a mask. Absolutely. You should do that. And you should definitely wash your hands more. You should be conscientious of other people. That's common sense. That's like the Swedish model sort of stuff. Why are you so goddamn afraid? I don't even fucking understand it at this point. Most of you don't even know anybody that got killed by coronavirus. You probably know more people that died of the fucking goddamn flu. It's bullshit. And it's really sad because Vermonters, by and large, they tend to be fairly level-headed. But the thing is, like, is the mayor even a Vermonter? Chances are he probably originates in New York or something like that. It seems to be a trend in Vermont politics increasingly. Like Bernie Sanders, he was from Brooklyn originally. He came to Vermont when he was in his late teens, and he just decided to never leave. He said, well, the Ben & Jerry's sure is good. The Ben & Jerry's is really great. I'm just going to stay here. It's what he wanted. He wanted ice cream, and he wanted to be able to peddle his socialism to a crowd of former hippies that didn't know any better. It was fucking bullshit. This is a violation of people's rights. By the way, when I come back, like Phil Scott is inching closer and closer to like an actual enforced mask mandate. Supposedly there's a mandate for masks in the state of Vermont, but there's no penalty at the moment for violating it. Guess who's going to violate it if he gets back to Vermont while the mandate's still active? I'm going to flaunt it openly. With a shirt that says your mask makes you look dumb, or a fuck Phil Scott shirt. Fuck you people. That's about all. Peace out.